man, look at that. Fresh tamales. Just out of the steamer. They've just had enough time to cool enough to touch. Look at this. Isn't that pretty? Firm. How nice that is. Oh, yes. Well, this is going to be some good eating. Hey, if you want to find out how to make these, watch this series of videos on how to make tamales, and you're going to make some yummy, wonderful, real tamales the way that you buy them when you buy them on the street. If you've ever had that opportunity, you are a lucky individual, and if not, you have truly missed out. Tamales. From beginning to end, I hope you enjoy this video. Welcome back to Texas Cooking. I'm your host, S.A. Trotter. Today we're going to be making tamales. However, in the endeavor of making tamales, I need to produce a sauce out of a chili. Now, I have chosen these ancho chilies. These are very common in making tamales to flavor the meat within the tamale. Now, when you're picking these out, you want to go over where the produce section is. They'll have the dried peppers in packages. You want to check that package and make sure. You see how this is leathery? Very little sound to it when you move it. Okay. This is real soft and pliable, and that's just what we need out of all of these, okay? If these are dry, if they're crumbly, if they crack when you bend them, return them to the store or throw them away, go buy you some more. Now what I'm going to do with these, I'm going to put them down in warm water. And I'm going to soak these things until they are rehydrated and very soft. And then at that point, we're going to turn them into a nice chili sauce. So first, just put them in your water there and give them time to rehydrate. Next, we'll be showing you how to turn those into a nice sauce. Now, we're still working on our tamales. I have my chilies. They're soaking there. Now, these are corn husks. We're going to need these to wrap the tamales with, okay? Where do you get corn husks? Well, you can get these sometimes at the farmer's market, also at your local grocery store. If you have a Hispanic grocery store in town, that'll be the best place to go to. You can be sure they'll be a little more fresh there, as the turnover is definitely going to be higher. Okay? Now, when you're going to be making tamales, you're going to want to soak these things because they're very dry, they're not flexible. So we need to get them down into some water. And if you'll notice, I'm kind of pulling them apart. That's a good thing to do. That way you're sure the water gets deep in between them. No dry spots. Okay, we want to take a quick look at our chilies. You see how they're sinking now? This is excellent. This is just what we want. I want these so they're sitting on the bottom of the bowl and nice and puffed up. See how big they're getting and full? Okay. Now what these ancho chilies are my favorite chili that you always hear me talk about, which is the poblano. And these are the ones that have turned red. They wait for them to ripen and then they pick them and dry them. And this makes what they call the ancho chili. These things are wonderful. Again, they're great, fresh, but as an item like this to make a sauce, they're fantastic. So we're going to give those a little more time. Do not throw the water out when you're finished hydrating these. Save your water because you're going to use a little of it later. While I am waiting for the meat to finish cooking, it is almost finished. It's getting close to being fork tender. And I'm still waiting on the anchos to finish hydrating. I'm going to go ahead and make my masa mixture. Now what I have here is some cornmeal, and this is for masa. There are different kinds of cornmeal, but they actually sell one that is ground in such a way that it's partially flour, and it makes a really nice masa mixture for tamales. So I recommend trying that if you can find it. Now they're asking for some lard. I think this was 1 1/4 cup, and then a tablespoon of salt and a tablespoon of baking powder. Now This recipe, don't worry about it. This is on the back of every one of those bags of masa mixture. And back here, I have 4 cups of broth. Now, on the bag that I purchased, it asked for, it called for 6 cups of broth. And I thought, wow, you know, proportionally, that just doesn't sound right to me. So, because it wanted 6 cups of masa to 6 cups of broth, and I thought, you know, that something's not right there. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to combine all the dry ingredients first. Let's go ahead and take care of that. I'm going to make a simple tamale masa. Now, this is the wrapping over the filling. Now I want to combine these dry ingredients. Oh, before I do that, if you want to season your masa, you can do that. And I'm going to do that. I've got a pepper grinder here that kicks it out really fast for me. Just want to take a moment. And then, yes, I believe it's best to fresh grind your pepper for things like this. The flavor of it is just dramatically better, okay? Now, what I'm trying to get down in here is about a tablespoon of black pepper. And I'm getting close to that now. Looks like we're there. Now, if I wanted, I could also put some cumin in this. I could put any kind of seasoning I want. I don't like to get too much seasoning in there. I like something to set it apart, but nothing dramatic. The other flavor that'll be in here is this broth. This is actually part of the broth from the pork loin that we are cooking. So I just poured it over ice to cool it down for this because I don't want it to interfere with my lard too much. Now, I said lard, I'm actually using vegetable shortening. A lot of these recipes call for lard. If you want to use vegetable shortening instead, go ahead. The lard is not really that healthy for you. Frankly, the vegetable shortening isn't that much better. However, it is slightly better according to some doctors, so I go with that. Now, most Hispanic families like to use a lot of lard, and that's what they're accustomed to. Okay, now what I want to start doing here is working in these other ingredients. What I'm doing, this is just like cutting in. I was making the pie dough, you know, you cut it into your flour. Now don't ever open the head on one of these with it running, or your ingredients are going to fly all over the place. Plus, that is rather dangerous. These machines are known, the stronger ones are known for breaking people's bones, so be very careful around them. And what I'm doing here, yes, this is whipping the masa. It works a little bit of air into it, makes it a little fluffier. I believe this makes it easier to work with. And I think it also produces a little firmer texture within the masa when it's steamed. Alright, check that. Yes. Now, the texture on this you can only tell by using your hand, unfortunately, so pinch off a little of this, and if you're worried about getting that into the mixture, then don't put it back in there. It's just that simple. Okay, you see how it's kneadable? It's a soft dough. It's not sticking to me so much, but it is very soft. It feels like softened butter almost. Okay. Looks like that's really good. I'm going to scrape the bottom of this bowl, let it whip one more time, and then that's going to be ready for us to use. Now we're getting ready to make the sauce that I will flavor the meat with for my tamales. That's what all of these chilies are about. And in order to process these down, I don't want to get all the seeds, the skin, or any of that. I don't want to get any of that in the sauce. So I'm going to use a food mill, this simple little item. It's got a crank. It forces the food down through this little strainer here, and it makes wonderful sauces. So if you don't have one of these, go out and spend $20, get one, and use the thing. Okay, now we're going to start with some garlic. I've got 3 cloves here. As far as how much you use depends on how many tamales you're making. I'm making a lot of tamales. However, you may want to use a lot more garlic or a lot less garlic. It's just personal preference. You may want no garlic at all in it. Okay? There we go. Throw that garlic right down in there. Isn't that neat? Real simple. Just get all those down in there. Pull that stem out, set them aside, and break up your skins. Now this sauce that I'm about to make is good for a lot of different things. It's very tasty as far as a sauce for tamales. Highly recommended. Now, I'm not going to do all of them immediately. Now you might be wondering, gee, what all is that doing? I don't see a whole lot coming out the bottom there. Well, it is. It's just stuck to the bottom of this. See here? This right here is what we want. That wonderful paste. That is pure, wonderful chili paste with a little garlic in it. So anyway, I'm going to sit here and do this, and when I'm finished, we're going to add a little bit more spice to it. Okay, I have finished on my anchos. Now this has taken me about 10 minutes. The inside of this is not a very pretty sight. However, I'm going to show it only for the benefit of knowing what's left behind. In this, there are some seeds that are kind of hard to see, and then just the skins that are left behind in this food mill. Now, if you want to work tomatoes the same way, it'll remove the skins and the seeds from tomatoes. It'll do this with anything, okay? So, these are cheap. Give it a try if you don't own one. Now, in the bottom of my bowl here, I have exactly what I was looking for, which is a nice thick chili paste, a good amount of it there. I've got about a half a cup, maybe a little more, of this chili paste, and that's going to be just right for a half of a pork loin. What I'm going to do next, add a little more seasoning to this, and that'll be in the form of some salt. We'll start with that. Add a little bit of salt there. And I want to add in some cumin and some cayenne. Now, yes, cayenne is another type of chili. Seems a little strange to add that to it, but it's a flavor that works well in the seasoning of tamales. Now, this is got the garlic in it, and I think I'm just going to leave it just like that. I was thinking maybe some cumino, but frankly, it's just not what I'm looking for in the flavor of this filling this time. Now, I'm doing pork filling, as I mentioned before. You can also do beef. You can do chicken. Doesn't matter what cut you use. Just find a good one. Boil it until it is tender. Save the broth. I just used some of the broth for the masa mix, as you saw. And I'm going to be using that broth later on to make some soup. Don't waste it. It's really good stuff. So, I'll take this, finish mixing it together. I'm going to add in some of the water that was left behind from the chilies, just to thin it a little bit, so that way it'll mix in with the meat better. Okay, before I got into working the meat and seasoning it, I wanted to show you the sauce that we prepared to season the meat with. Remember how little there was in this before? And look how thick it is now. Well, I haven't added anything to thicken it. I've actually just kept adding the water that I hydrated the chilies in, and until I got it down to about the point of where it's kind of like ketchup. Okay? Now, this can be used just like this also for enchiladas. This is the best enchilada sauce that you will ever make in your life. Try this. Surprise your friends. They'll be wondering, wow, how did they make that great tasting sauce? I can't even taste the tomatoes in it, and they won't even understand that there are no tomatoes in it. It's just 100% macho chili. So, there's a wonderful sauce. This can be used in many ways. It can be used to cook with meat. Use it down in like a beef dish, where you take some steak, put it in a pan, and sear it a little bit on both sides, and then add some of this sauce, a bit of maybe some fresh peppers or onions, and then cook those together, and you'll have your wonderful steak. It'll just blow your mind. So, try this sauce in many different ways. Enjoy it. Here we are working on our pork loin. Like I said, I had a half a pork loin for the tamales. So, now how do I know if this is done enough? Well, you can actually see the meat falling apart. It's coming apart right here. Good sign. It is pork tender. Okay? Pork tender means the fork slips back out easily, alright? Now, all I need to do is just chop that down a little bit, and it's going to be ready for a filling for our tamales. There we go. Now this is still really hot. I just now pulled it out of boiling water. It's not going to take me but just a minute to be able to break this up. This knife, which is razor sharp, is able to cut it, but it is just literally falling apart. Alright. This is exactly what we're looking for. Just a nice shredded meat interior. And now it is ready for seasoning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in a large bowl, and then we're going to mix it with the chili sauce that we made earlier. Now we're ready to do our meat filling for the tamales. Let me put a little salt down in this. Put in the sauce that we made, every bit of it, right down onto that. And then all I have to do is just turn it. Turn the meat until it's fully coated and incorporate it all the way through evenly. Now, some folks like tamales that are really hot, okay? And in Hispanic culture, that's not unusual. There are various different chilies and peppers that you can use. If you are just wanting to heat it up and you want to do it real simple and easy, buy you one habanero and dice that up real fine, put it into the food mill to be used as part of the sauce, incorporate it in that, and then you're going to have a really hot batch of tamales. Now if you want super hot, put 2 of those in there. And if you just want to punish people, drive your friends away from you, put 3 in. That's just way too hot as far as I'm concerned. It makes them inedible. And of course, if you like them that hot, at least you know your friends won't gobble them all down. Okay, I've got a good filling. This is ready to produce some tamales. Next step will be how to make those cute little tamale rolls. Now it's time to assemble our tamales. I'm going to start with some of the masa and just scoop some of that up and put it directly onto your corn husk, just like so. Lovely. Just going to smear it out. Sometimes it wants to fight you. Usually it'll go pretty smooth though. Now if you'll notice, I centered a little spot in this one corner of the wrapper, and that's because this is where the tamale is going to be made. The rest is just going to overlap it. Now I'll take some of my meat filling, put that right there in the middle of it, just a little bit more for the end. There we go. Now I want this part of the masa to touch this over here, so it'll form a nice complete wrapper. And if you notice, I didn't get that too thick. Alright, finish rolling it and then fold the tail right down over the loose end. If you'll notice the meat's kind of loose, you can push that down and crimp some of that matzo over it, and that'll help keep it firm as it cooks. Okay, now that's ready to go in the steamer just like that. Keep making all of them the same way. And the steamer, very simple. All I did was take the same pot that I boiled that roast in, and I put a steamer basket in the bottom of it, just like you use for vegetables. Okay? Put water up to the bottom of the steamer basket. As soon as I get this thing loaded, I'm going to go ahead and start steaming these, and I want to cook them for about an hour. That'll make them nice and firm, and they'll give you some really wonderful tamales. Now I've got to hurry up and get this done, that way I can go get some beer and be ready for the Super Bowl. Yep, that's right, having tamales for my Super Bowl party. What are you doing, huh? Okay, there we go. Now you've seen that twice. It's a very simple process. It takes some time to learn to get this masa thin. At first instinct is to get it a little thicker than that, and you don't really need to. A nice thin masa wrapper, just enough to hold the tamale together, to hold the meat in place as you're eating it. That is absolutely perfect. Okay, there we go. Well, looks like I've got about, another 100 of these to make. No, I don't know how many this will yield. It'll be a large batch, though, a few dozen. So, I hope you enjoy your tamales. I'm certainly going to enjoy mine. Good eating. Oh, man, look at that. Fresh tamales. Just out of the steamer. They've just had enough time to cool enough to touch. Look at this. Isn't that pretty? Firm. How nice that is. Oh, yes. Well, this is going to be some good eating.